Hello, hello, my awesome family. How are you doing today? My name is Dayle, the host of the Awesome Music Show, and I am delighted to be your host one more time on this wonderful broadcast as we share in another live broadcast. The theme for this month is I'm young, I'm bold, and confident. And that's a theme that we're going to be doing for the month of July and August as we encourage our young people. We know so many people are looking for ways to encourage themselves, to empower themselves. And we hope that this broadcast will be that kind of broadcast that will help you to achieve those goals. We are so happy to have been a part of your life for the past 2 years, second year in a row, and we are really happy to share this broadcast with you over and over and over. So, as usual, it's another awesome day given to us by an awesome God to do some awesome things. And today is no less. We're going to be doing some awesome things on this wonderful show as we invite our very, very special guest. We have a very special guest lined up for you today, and we want you to be a part of this broadcast. So, wherever you're joining us from, you can post your messages in the chat. If you have comments, you can post them in the chat as well, and we will do our best to highlight those for you. Also, before I go into this live broadcast, we are sharing on the screen a live link because the Awesome Music Show has been nominated in the ABGMA Awards 2022. That's the Antigua and Barbuda Gospel Music Awards. And we are so grateful for this nomination. But for us to win this award, we need your help and the help of your friends and your families. So vote, and this is the voting link, soarrivemusic.com/vote ABGMA, and you go to the media category and select option two for best radio show entertainment. That's the Awesome Music Show. You can vote unlimited all the way up to the 31st of July, and then they will tally all those votes and announce the winners in November at the award show. So we need your help as you vote. Share the link with your family and your friends, and you can vote several times per day. And I want to big up Christine from Christine's Closet over there in Alexandria Center, who is always supporting, always reminding me to vote or send out a reminder for the voting link. And that's really, really awesome. So we thank you so much for your help as we continue to push the awesome music show. So today we're going to be inviting our wonderful, wonderful guests on the show today to share with us on this wonderful broadcast. And we want you to be a part of it. We want you to get your pens, get your notepads, and just get ready to take some notes so that you can get useful information to help you through the summer and you can watch this broadcast over and over and over again. So, my guest today is a licensed clinical mental health counselor practicing her passion for over 21 years. She is the founder of the Abundance of Peace Counseling Services, which provides services in Georgia and Canada, the creator of YouTube channel The Abundant Life Today, and also a speaker on mental health topics and empowerment. She has specialized training in treating depression, anxiety, trauma, grief, and first episode psychosis. She's also helping people manage their stress with the REAL method for stress management. She describes herself as a professional with heart, skill, and passion who finds fulfillment in helping people overcome their mental health challenges and live an abundant life. I speak of no other person today than my wonderful guest, Samantha Campbell. Thank you so much for being my guest on the awesome spotlight. Samantha, how are you doing?
I am good, Dale. Thanks for having me. And you did an amazing job. Thank you for your ministry. And thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Really, really a pleasure having you. Long awaited
Yeah.
show because we have been talking about this for quite a while. But God
Mhm.
has His own way of making the timing just perfect. So it's really, really awesome
Amen.
to have you on. And we're looking forward to all that you'll be sharing today on this broadcast as we talk about the topic. I'm young, I'm bold, I'm confident. And that's really, really awesome. So we can encourage our young people for the months of July and August. And the wonderful thing about social media, you can always go on and watch a broadcast over and over and learn more and more from it. So we're happy to have you and we're looking forward to your presentation. So you can give us your presentation and we are here. Comments might come up in the chat and we can just talk about those as well. But you're free to go ahead with your presentation. All right, all the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Dale. I mean, I love your theme though.
Mhm.
Young,
So much.
bold, and confident,
And
right?
confident. Definitely, definitely,
And it's,
definitely.
youthfulness. It
Hmm.
speaks of energy, potential. You have a
Yes,
blank slate to just write
yes,
anything. It's a beautiful place
definitely.
to be, you know. I'm past that stage now, but looking back, I could think of many things I probably would do differently, you know. So hopefully this
Hmm.
talk today will help young people who are at that space in their life where they're like, okay, what am I going to do with myself? I'm excited about life to live. I have all these dreams and ideas. Just a beautiful space. So it won't be a long talk, but I'm hoping that it will be interactive. Anytime you want to pop in and at a point or a question.
Yes.
I might put you on the spot too, not too much, but
That's fine. That's
so
fine.
that we
That's
can,
fine.
both share.
That's cool.
So I just have 7 tips today. Tips because they're really suggestions, as to things you can do to live a life of purpose. So my talk is entitled Living a Purposeful Life, a life that has a purpose, a goal. So I believe that we are all born with a purpose. So I'm a Christian. So I come from that perspective and moral background, right?
Yes.
That God created us all with a purpose and that we are all special. Regardless of the circumstances that we were brought into this world, it might not be perfect, but I believe that God has a purpose for every single life that makes it through the process of birth, right?
Definitely.
So the first tip, I'm gonna just get right into it. The
Yes.
first tip I want to talk about is the tip of prayer, praying. And I have that first because guess what? We're all born with natural abilities. So what I do naturally is not what you might do naturally, Dale, right?
Right.
So we
Right.
were all born with natural abilities and things that we have an interest in, things that we like or we are drawn to, right? So we
Yes.
have some people have like 20 abilities, some have two, some
Hmm.
have one, some have
Hmm.
three. So the challenge, therefore, is okay, how do I use this? What do I use for ministry? And what do I use in a career? Or can
Hmm.
it be a merging of both?
Of both. Right.
It is very complex because
Hmm.
sometimes you have multiple abilities. You're like, what do I do? Do I do this? Do I do that? So this is why I'm talking about prayer. Because when you realize that you have certain abilities, then it's time to say, okay, God, why you give me this ability? You give me all these things. How do you want me to utilize them?
Yes.
Right? So when I was younger, I loved to sing, right? But I
Hmm.
also loved to like listen to people's problems
Right. So
and
something
tell them
started
how to,
developing.
yeah, so I would say, oh, can you see you try this idea? You ever think of this idea? How about this idea? Right? And I always wanted to go to people's house and help them and, you know, clean their houses and take food and pray with them. And at some point realized that not all my friends like those things, right? Because I
Hmm.
would say, oh, come, let's go and look for sister so and so. We're going to pray with her. I'm going to clean up the house is dirty. I'm going to clean the house, and I'm all excited. And they're like, I
Not
don't
your
really
part.
want to do it.
Yeah, yeah, totally
And I
understand.
couldn't understand it. So, oh, you don't want to do it like, excited about it like me,
Yeah.
So I started to realize that um what appealed to me or what God gave me was not what he gave someone else, you know.
Mhm.
And how was I to use that particular ability? So it had to be something that is powerful. And I'm sure for you, Dale, there are many things that, because right now you're doing this show, I know you can sing,
Yes.
and I know you play music, right?
Play music. Yes, yes, I do. Yes.
Okay. But there are other things that you're good at too.
Yes, definitely, definitely. A lot behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure it took you at some point a while to decide, okay, how am I going to utilize these
Mhm.
abilities in my
That's,
life? You
that's
know,
true.
so it really requires a lot of prayer. So the first step is really, I after you realize that you have a lot of abilities and interests, the question is, what do I do with them? And who's better to ask about that than the God who gave it to you,
Give it to you.
right?
Yes.
Because sometimes we try to do it on our own, then we end up going a long journey and then realizing, oh, it's not really what I want to do. So it's important that you are praying about this and fasting about this to see what it is that God really wants you to do, right?
That's true. That's
Now,
true.
tip number two, trust God to fulfill the plans, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes God shows what he wants us to do, but we start to question him.
Yes.
You know, can this really work? Is this really? I'm not sure. Like, can this? Suppose this happen, or
Yes.
suppose this don't happen, or suppose this don't work out, or what?
Mhm.
So it's important that we are trusting God to say, okay, Lord, if you gave me this, and you're asking me to do this, I'm going to trust you as the King of Kings and Lord of Lords over this world to guide, lead, and open the doors for this to be a possibility,
Yes.
right? And sometimes we create a resistance when we try to think about it in our own eyes because our mind is so, I mean, compared to God, we're like a sand, that little piece of sand
Mhm.
in, you know,
Able.
sometimes we're trying to figure out how this is going to work. We don't even know the future. We don't even know how he's doing what he's doing. He is all powerful. His ways are above us. So being able to say, okay, God, I'm going to trust that you will help me. And I say that to say, Dale, sometimes God opens doors and we walk away from them because in our minds, we don't see how it's going to end out.
That's true. That's
We
true.
don't see the outcome, right?
Right.
So you want to be a bank executive, right? And you're saying, Lord, I know you called me to work in the banking industry. I love this. It's so natural for me. And you're just thinking of the end. But the steps
Mhm.
towards it, God might have a different plan. So he might say, okay, a job comes up at a hardware store, for example,
Yes.
and you're like, hardware.
Material and
No,
stuff like
we
that.
can't, Lord. How you no open that door? You better open that door here. Why open this door and close this door? Like, what are you doing? Right? So, but guess what? You go to the hardware store to work, right? Because you need to have the money to for the education or whatever you need to do, and that door opens up. You take it.
That's
So
true.
while you're there working, guess what happens? A person comes in to buy something, you're so engaging doing your work well, and they're like, oh, you're such a nice person, what you want to do with your life? And they're like, oh, I want to be in the banking industry, I'm studying now at so and so, and I'm trying to get it done. And Dale, you meet somebody in the banking industry,
Opportunity
and
just
the
open
person is
up.
like, oh, I am in the industry,
Yes.
send me a resume. No, think about it. Would that have been in your mind in terms of the process and trajectory? Probably not. But that's how God works. He
Yes.
lines things up. So when we are trusting Him, we have to work with the process. Work with the
That's true.
process. Sometimes it won't look the way how we imagined it to look. When I was finished high school, I wanted to do social work. That's a whole other story how I got into social work. But as you
Mm-hmm.
can see, there's a trend. I want to help people. I'm cleaning people house with excitement. So what career would that, lead me into? I could
Yeah.
be a psychiatrist, but then I'll just be diagnosing and just in an office, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be like have a multiple role in
Yeah.
helping, and social work provided that for me. But let me tell you, when I finished high school and I did not get the grades that I needed to get for A levels in sixth
Yeah.
form, go to UE and University of the West Indies, for those who don't know who that is in Jamaica. And
Yeah.
I was coming down the stairs at school, and there's a teacher, Mr. Davis. He was a teacher who people used to be scared of because he was such a strong personality, but he always took an interest in me. And he stopped me on the street and he said, "What did you get? Did you pass?" He just turned voice, and I said, "Well, not really. Well, I did, but not. I didn't get the grade that you will, accept me with this grade." And he was like, "What? You have two A levels. They ask for two A levels minimum. Okay. So you need to go up there right now, go straight up to UE and tell them that you have two A levels and you want to be in the course."
Yeah.
And there I was like, what? But anyway, he suggested to me, and I respected him. And he said, "You need to go up there right now." It literally bad me up, then we stay in Jamaica,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You threatening me if you don't go up there.
Just go and get it done.
I I went on campus that day. I took the bus, Dayle, straight up there with my two A levels. Cause them asked me. I don't recall what the grades were. I mean, was it A or B was supposed to be the
Mm-hmm.
highest grade? But see me get was about a C or B, something, but it wasn't
Yeah. Yeah.
desirable, right?
Yeah.
And would you know that when I walked on campus, I saw a church sister. I'm sure about God intervention and
Yes.
things not working out as you sometimes plan. I
Yes.
saw a church sister at the time, mind you, this is a massive campus, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the time I'm walking to find the social work building, who do I see? My friend Nina. She was like a mentor to me. She's in social work already.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't a
That,
phone call. She had no idea. I didn't know where she was. I didn't know she was in on campus that day. We meet it. She see me. She said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I got two A levels and I want to do social work because I spoke to her about it before." And then she was like, "Oh, really? Okay. Let me carry it let me take it to the office."
mm-hmm. Just like that.
There, she took me right to the dean's office. And apparently she was very respected there.
Mm-hmm.
So she took me straight to the dean office and said, "Put her down to meet with the dean." Just like that,
Wow.
right? So what if I had not worked with the movement,
Yes.
right?
And being
Everything
obedient to
was
the teacher as
lined
well.
up, right? I
Mm-hmm.
thought I would just get my wonderful grades. You would be calling me, sending me acceptance letters, and all these beautiful things. It did not work out like that. But in
Yes.
the end, God worked his way and worked a miracle in the end, right? So trust God's will in your life. And tip number three is not nourish your gift.
Yes.
If you have a plant and it's not watered, it dies. So when you're clear on what God wants you to do and your abilities, it's important that you learn how to make that better. Become trained in it. Find ways to improve it. And it doesn't have to be when people talk about careers, doctor, lawyers. Listen, every career area is important. You
Definitely.
need someone to build a house. Where are you going to live? Right? You need someone to be able to um service your machine when they break down,
Definitely.
right?
Technical areas.
Yes, to clean your building. Every career, every area is important. So don't allow peer pressure and worldly things of accolades to distract you from what God has put in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. But become trained and skilled in it. So whatever, if you have to go to, Dale, is your audience mostly Jamaicans in your audience?
Jamaicans, yes, US and
All
Canadians
over.
as well.
Okay,
Yes.
so whatever area, if it's in law, then you want to try and find out, how you get into law school. You want to try and, get, how do I learn about this area more, and what is the process of becoming who I want to become. If it's an area where it's more trade related, then you find out about, trade schools that you can attend
Mm-hmm.
to, to learn and to get the certification needed to accomplish your goal. So try very hard to build on it. Don't just let it die. God put it in you not to die, but to nourish and flourish it, because it's going to be a benefit to the world.
Definitely.
No matter how small, has great impact, right? So
Yes.
once you're aware of what it is and you're trusting God, then become trained in it.
Mm-hmm.
So far, is it making sense so far?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
And there's this text in Ecclesiastes, verse 9, verse 10. It said, whatever your hand find to do it with all your might. For in
Yes.
the realm of the dead, where you're going, there's nothing, no working, no planning, no knowledge or wisdom. So give it your best shot. Give it your best shot. Step number
Mm-hmm.
4,
Yes.
or tip number 4, sorry. Do not
Yes.
give up because of setbacks, failures, or negative people.
Wow.
It is so important to remember that, because sometimes you have your dream, and you're so excited about your dream, and you tell somebody, and they're like,
The wrong
"That
person.
doesn't work. But I even tried that. Won't be successful. You
Yes.
know, just drop your spirit. You know, but that's a part of life.
Yes.
People won't always cheer you on, and there are going to be obstacles in the way.
So
But
true.
it doesn't mean that you're supposed to stop. So some people might say, boy, what, it look as if I'm a curse or something. Like, why I can't excel in this area? Why can't I move in that direction? So sometimes we view setbacks as curses, or as an indicator that we should not be going. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you today that sometimes that's not the case.
So true.
But you have to fight for what you want. You have to fight for what you want. There will be obstacles. When obstacles come, you pray, review what you done in the beginning, look and see if you can change your strategy, right? So spend most of your mental space on strategizing, re-strategizing, and seeking extra support, rather than to say, this is not what I'm supposed to do. I'm just, bound or doomed to this life. There's no hope for me. So it becomes more of a depressive situation, as
Yes.
opposed to seeing setbacks as an opportunity to look at what you missed, probably, and
Mm-hmm.
how you can do things in another way.
Yes.
So try not to look at setbacks as reasons to not pursue your purpose.
Yes.
They will come. And I think I want to say this. Sometimes, we think, oh, I have this dream and I want to just work towards it and it's going to be beautiful. No, no. There are some people who are born with that, their parents might have a lot of money and they have access to a lot. Even
Mm-hmm.
with those people, there are obstacles. But that's the small percentage of the world.
Yes.
In general, you really have to work towards what you want.
Yes.
And when obstacles come, you need to pray, review, strategize, seek wise counsel before going forward, and believe and pray to God for the strength and courage to keep moving.
Yes.
Okay. Step number 5. Tip number 5. Do not sacrifice people you love or your health to fulfill your purpose. And I
Wow.
have to put that in there, because a lot of times we get so driven towards what we want, where we neglect people who care about us and we neglect our health, you know, not sleeping, not eating, working a lot of hours, taxing our bodies. Are we not end up being sick and can't enjoy what we worked for, you know? And also not spending time with people we care about, pouring into people, you know, just so focused on the end goal that we neglect the people who are around us, your support. So I think it's very important because you achieve the goal. But when you look behind you, there's collateral damage, you know? You have poor relationships with people around you, with your children, a failed marriage, poor health. It's not worth it. So, what I'm talking about here is balance. Try to have balance in your life. You know,
yeah,
in pursuing your goal, don't forget what the things that are most important: people. You know, that
yeah,
never dies. It never dies. Everything else perish and get old. But love and giving and sharing and taking care of your body, it produces, always give you benefits. Always give you benefits. So don't forget that. Surround
yeah,
yourself with people who support you. So it's very important that, you know, you are very particular about who you have in your circle when you're pursuing your purpose. Okay? There are
yeah,
certain people you may be around you who are not necessarily very positive and could be jealous. In JA, we call that bad mind. They say bad
yeah,
mind, our wicked. It's a wicked thing. People who are jealous
yeah,
of you and will want to put barriers in your space, you know, are people who just can't see that vision. So try to identify people who can encourage you when you're having a low moment, the obstacles are weighing you down, and you call them. They won't be like, you see, that's what I tell us, you mustn't do this thing, you know.
right, right,
They will be saying to you, okay, let me pray with you. Okay, it's going to be okay. Let's just look at where you can do different. Support. You need support. You can't do this alone. And people to hold you accountable, you know, to say, I mean, have you assessed this? Or have you done this? You need those people around you. Join interest groups. So if there are groups around you in the area that you like to do, look for groups where you can volunteer at a place, find mentors, people who are in the area before, right? Remember I mentioned to you my friend Nina, who I saw on campus that day.
people
I
just panic right away.
exactly, but guess what? I had approached her way before this per chance meeting, right? I should say no, divine meeting. It wasn't by chance. And and expressed to her that, you know what? I heard you were in social work. What's it like? So I asked questions. What do I need to do? So I was inquiring. I was trying to find a mentor who someone who is in the process. She was doing her master's. She had the degree already. She had worked.
Yeah,
No, at the next level. She had a lot of things to share with me. So find people in your life who can mentor you in the area. Don't be afraid to go and ask and say, I would like to become this. Can you help me get there? You know, so create a positive circle of support. Prayer partners, just have a support. It doesn't have to be big. It can be just two, three people, but you have a base that you go to just help you along the journey of going towards your purpose. And number 7, take care of your mental health. Take care of your mental health. So this part is so important. This is the most important part tonight or today, whatever time is to be
yeah,
broadcasted, because the thing is, our mind drives our life.
yeah,
Without a healthy mind, you can't have a career, you can't have a family, you can't have anything, right? So it's important that you're taking care of this mind that you possess. How do you do that? Manage your stress level. Stress is a silent killer. you know. And there's a chemical piece to that. When we are stressed, it releases cortisol hormones in the body. Cortisol is a good hormone. It helps to stabilize your hypertension, your blood, your sugar levels. It reduces your anxiety, depression. It helps with arthritis. Cortisol, keeps you, lowers inflammation. The challenge is when there's too much cortisol in the body, everything it keeps leveled, it throws out of place and it become poisonous to the body,
Yeah.
right? So managing stress is important. It's important that you're not exposing yourself to prolonged stressors. So, for example, you may have to finish a paper at school, right? But this paper, for that one night or 2 days, you go under peak stress because you're like, I have to get this done. So you don't get any sleep, you're focused on it, you don't eat any much food, you're not talking to anybody because you have to focus to get this done. That is okay. But doing that for like 6 months in a row, that will kill you,
Yeah.
right? So it's important to manage your stress. And a very key stress management tip that I share with people is things you can control, let them go.
Mhm.
Things you can control, you plan for them. So put things in categories, right?
Yeah.
Manage your stress by identifying, can I control this? If I think about it, can I cause a change in this situation? Can I control anything in this situation? If you can't control it, you must release it. Let it go because you're losing sleep over something you can't even change. When you wake up, I promise you, it will be the same.
Yeah.
But you know who will change? You. You will change. Memory issues, depression, anxiety, irritability, everything going wrong with you. So things you can't control, release them. But things you can control, sit and plan. Create a plan because having a plan reduces anxiety and it helps you to kind of put things in place that you can manage. And it gives you this sense of autonomy too,
Yeah.
Um, if you struggle with anxiety, depression, or any mental illnesses, seek help. Seek help. You can seek help with school counselor. If you're on campus, on a university, they have support at university. If
Yeah.
not, you also can talk with your medical doctor. They are trained now in this day and age. Thank God, medical doctors are now, they have training in managing mental health. Before it was like a separate thing, but God created this body
It is-
as one, right? But because most people in that realm don't really seek God on these things, they kind of missed that. They separated, right? But God was like, no, everything is connected. If
Yeah.
you're stressed about something, your brain releases stuff that goes into your body. Then you start to feel pain here, there. Then your chest start to hurt you. Anxiety, depression. What does that show you? Everything is connected, right? So if your mental health is not okay, if you're having anxiety, heart racing, panicking, or not sleeping, not eating, not focusing, crying a lot, all these things are indicators that you are struggling, because you can be sad, but sadness is not prolonged, over a 2 week period. You just sad for 2 weeks straight like that, unless there's a situation where you have a major loss in your life. That context, that's different. But if you're having those challenges, it's going to be hard for you to pursue your purpose if you're not mentally okay. You can't focus enough. You not the energy to go on to a job interview or to work. You just don't have the motivation. So get the help you need. Don't be ashamed to take care of your mental health. It is a physical issue. It's not mind over matter. So take care of that. Practice good nutrition. Make sure you're sleeping properly. Those things help your because when you're sleeping, when you sleep on time and have at least 8 hours sleep, the brain produces something that we call um, melatonin, right? And that's going to only be produced when you're sleeping. And did you know that melatonin produce serotonin. And serotonin is what makes you happy and have energy and have clarity, right? So if you are not sleeping and you have low melatonin, then you have low serotonin. Then you're going to have anxiety, depression, and a lot of challenges with your health. So we are so marvelously created, but we have to be intentional about taking care of our bodies so that our mental health will be great. And when you have good mental health, then you can work towards your purpose with clarity, you know. And I last thing I'll say is spend time with God. Spend time with God. You know, every single morning. Every single morning. It took me a couple years to get into a rhythm with this, but it has changed my life. I do not start my morning without God. If you know you have to wake up at 5 to go to work, wake up at 4:45. Just 15 minutes. Just
Yeah.
15 minutes. Stay in that moment. Pray. Worship Him. Then sit and say, Lord, what you have for me for this day. And He shows you things through the word, through a devotional. I could write a book on the things that God has revealed to me in my life, and how when I start my day this way, the peace He gives me, the wisdom to go through the day. So start your day with Him, and He will lead and direct the steps that you go through and give you the ability to manage so that you can pursue your dream, whether it be a doctor, lawyer, teacher. All of this requires dedication, hard work, focus, but don't forget the foundation pieces, and that is God, first of all, seeking Him, having your support system in place, and making sure that you're doing things in a way that moves you towards the goal. Do not get stressed by setbacks. See them as opportunities for growth, right? Keep focus, move forward. And I hope that these tips were helpful in your journey in pursuing your purpose.
Wow, wow, so awesome, so awesome. I'm listening to you, and you are saying even stuff that other guests on the show have highlighted before, which is so good. And I'm happy that because of your background, you can mention several things that the normal person, the average person, would not even be thinking about in terms of proper rest, getting your proper diet and all those things to have a good mental health. And there, one person said on the show a few months ago, there's no health without good mental health, and that's you
There you
highlighted that
go.
so much
Yes.
because once that is off, then everything else gets thrown off. Pain and all kinds of anxiety, all kinds of other things, and that's really good. So I'm happy that you highlighted those 7 tips. Number
Yes.
one, prayer. Number two, trust God for help. Number three, nourish your gift. Number four, don't give up. And you cannot elaborate on that. And number five, do not sacrifice loved ones to fulfill the purpose that you are trying to achieve. Number six, create a good circle of friends. Number seven, take care of your mental health. And I like the fact that you mentioned things you can't control, let them go. I think majority of us fuss over things that we have absolutely no control over. And then you mentioned things you can control, embrace them and plan for them to go forward. And that's really, really awesome. So I'm really, really happy that you spent this time to share with us. I'll be sharing your links as well in the description so that those who want to contact you for personalized services can contact you as well, because we have been getting so much from this broadcast and we really thank you for your time. I'm going to be sharing your YouTube link because you have a channel. It's called the
Yes.
Abundant Life Today channel,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
you can find that the link is already on the screen, and they can find you on your website as well, www.abundanceofpeace.com. Very, very simple. You can remember www.abundanceofpeace.com. So you can find Samantha on those links. Support her channel, The Abundant Life Today, on YouTube. very, very, very helpful videos. I've watched several of them, and you can find several tips, several pieces of advice that you can use in your daily life. You can share it with your family and your friends as well. So it really, really, it has been my pleasure having you on the show, Samantha. And I really thank you for your time. I'm sure those who are watching this broadcast will get something really, really encouraging from it. And also for our young people, as we support the theme for the months of July and August, I'm young, I'm bold, and confident. I'm sure these are very, very helpful tips that can help them as they go through summer. A lot of young people just left high school and they're home now wondering what's next. So I'm hoping this broadcast will be one of those broadcasts that they can watch and they can be helped from the suggestions that you raise. So really thank you. If you have any
Thank
final words
you.
you say before we go off.
Okay, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure, Dale, and thanks for your ministry, as I said before. I just wanted to say, I put a disclaimer there. We have been through a very difficult time with COVID. So life is not the same as it used to be. So you might find that, you're a little more stressed than normal, and that for young people, job opportunities might not be as many. Some companies have shut down, and there are a lot of challenges,
Yeah,
financially and everything. So, what I would want to encourage you to do is don't get discouraged, try and connect with other young people in your circle. There are so many businesses that has come up since COVID,
mhm,
people have been, they call it the word pivoting, right?
yeah,
But it's really stepping back and saying, okay, all these things I can't control, right? What COVID has done, I can't control that. But how
mhm,
can we, in prayer, look at, oh, what can we do differently? Maybe it requires reinventing of yourself. It
yeah,
may have a little detour a little bit before you get to
mhm,
your ultimate space, because the world has changed, and you might find that your anxiety and stuff are a little bit harder. Because I don't think most people realize that since COVID, you're not the same. Don't fool
yeah,
yourself. We were
mhm,
all impacted, and our body is adjusting back to a normal space. So you will find that you might be easily stressed than you normally would be, little bit more overwhelmed, and just opportunities might be a little bit less in some areas. But COVID
yeah,
has opened up things in other areas. So it's really about not allowing yourself to be burdened with the situation. Cry if you need to. Take your time to do that because you're human. But after you're done, get up, pray, and start to think, where do I go from here? So, my last word to your young people is don't give up on your future. God has a plan for you, even post COVID. This is
yeah.
nothing for Him. Just keep going and don't give up. Don't give up.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Really, really happy to have you, and you
You.
have shared so much. I'm sure this will benefit several persons watching this broadcast. And as I said before, even the fact that people can watch this broadcast over and over is a
Yes.
plus, because it's not like you missed this one. Hey, how am I gonna get to hear what Samantha has to say? You can watch this over and over, and we really thank you for your time. So it's been my pleasure being your host on the
Thank
Off
you.
Music Show. And it was happy to have you for your busy schedule. I'm sure you have so many different things that you could have done other than coming on this show. But we are now family. We're happy to have you as part of the awesome music show family, and really, really good. So thank you for your time, and
Thank you,
have a
Pam.
great day wherever you're going to be doing for the rest of the day. We thank you for so much for your time, and be blessed. Take care. And we look forward to seeing you again on the show at some later time to share with our audience again. So be blessed, and thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye. All right, so there you have it. We had Campbell online. She is a licensed clinical mental health counselor. She's also the founder of AOP Counseling Services, content creator on YouTube. the Abundant Life Today broadcast, and also she's an employment speaker. So you can find her website www.abundanceofpeace.com, and you can also find her YouTube channel, The Abundant Live Today broadcast, and support her. Like, share, subscribe to her channel. Wherever you're logging on from today, we want to thank you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank you for even just coming on this live. We really thank you. Wherever you are, I may not have called your name, but we appreciate you logging on and sharing in this broadcast with us. So thank you so much. See you on our next broadcast at our usual time. And we want to thank you for the months of July and August. We may not be having our regular Monday broadcast, but for sure you can look out for our broadcast on Fridays as we continue to empower our young people for the months of July and August. All right, thank you so much. My name is Dayle T. Remember to vote for the Awesome Music Show in the ABGMA Awards 22. SoaRiseMusic.com/vote ABGMA media category 26, and just look for option 2 for Best Radio Show Entertainment, DLT as a host, and just help us to win this award. Even if we don't win the award, we're still grateful that we were even considered to be nominated in this wonderful, wonderful award show 2022. So thank you so much. My name is DLT. As we go, it's another awesome day given to us by an awesome God to do some awesome things. Thank you so much for logging on, for sharing in the broadcast today. Wherever you are, we are appreciative of your support. Thank you so much. My name is DLT. Take care and enjoy the rest of you are. Take care. Be blessed. Take care.